What we're gonna do is we're gonna pay you $50,000, but we're also gonna give you a car. Government rule was, you can give people benefits, you just can't give them salary. Sounds good, she's gonna sign up, okay? Right? But instead of a car, they gave people health care. Before that, you just had to pay for health care. You get it privately. Okay? Maybe you had insurance, you would pay for your insurance privately. But in the United States, the concept of health insurance came to life in the mid-20th century, after World War II, for this very odd reason. The consequence was that now there's a third party involved in paying for health care. And that third party is insurance. And what's their interest?
Profit.
I'm sorry?
Profit.
Profit. Okay? Profit. Now, for many, many years in the United States, if I'm the doctor and you're the patient, and we decide you need something done, we do it, and we just send the bill to the insurance company. And the insurance company pays for it. And they say to the employer, we're very sorry, but our costs have gone up 10%. So your costs are going to go up 10%.
No,
You have to pay us 10%
more than
more.
10. More than 10, right?
Often, sometimes, okay? Right? Now, Dave, you're going to...
Sorry, can you restate how, like, who's the moral hazard? Is it the company offering insurance, or is it the insurance themselves? I don't quite understand.
Okay. Neither the doctor nor the patient have any financial responsibility. So they make decisions without financial accountability.
Sometimes the decision is, is not only the benefit of the patient.
Yeah, so we'll take an ENT example, okay? In the United States, children often get tubes put in their ears, okay? And so let's say you have a child and they're having, their ear is plugged, and you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, we can do one of two things. We can wait a month, and I'll give you some pills to take, a decongestant for the baby, your child, not baby, but your child, or we can do a surgery, okay? If you're paying for that yourself, the first thing you're gonna say is, what does it cost?
What's the benefit of the ventilation tube?
Yeah, what's the benefit and what's it gonna cost?
Probably the same as waiting.
Okay, right? If you're not paying, you don't even ask. You just do it.
Wanna do it?
Right? If the doctor says, maybe I should do it.
And what's the doctor want?
What does the doctor want? Okay, so you're going to be a surgeon, right? So you're sitting there with your patient, and you can say, I'll see you next month. And in the United States, a pediatric visit is going to be, let's say, $40, okay? Or you say, let's do the surgery, and you'll get paid $700, okay? So what are you going to recommend?
Surgery, if I want the money.
Well, it's going to bias you. Okay, it's going to bias you, whether you know it or not. It will bias you. Okay,
It's not a malpractice. I mean, you can do that.
it's not malpractice. No, it just it changes the way everyone looks at it. So moral hazard says you don't care about the cost because somebody else is paying.
Okay.
If you live in Colombia and you have to pay for your medical care, you're going to be very cautious with what you pay for. Okay?
And that was proved by there was a very famous U.S. NIH study who divided into several groups. One group of patients had no insurance, but they gave them like $700,000 to cover the cost. One group had an insurance, like use free, we're gonna pay for that. You're not gonna get the 700, whatever, all right, or 100, okay? And those who had an insurance, both of them received the same amount of money, all right? Those into the pocket and those through insurance, right? These two groups. Those who had insurance used the system in every aspect you look at, much more than those who had the money but into their pocket and they had to pay for each procedure. So they proved that like 40 years ago, very nicely. Nobody repeated that anymore.
Okay, now, so we've introduced insurance, but the insurance works for people who are employed in the United States or their families. Because we learned when Irma and I were negotiating for hiring Isabella, Isabella says, you can't just offer me insurance. I have a husband, I have, how many children?
4.
4. So all of a sudden my costs are 5, 6. I'm paying for 6 people, right? But what if Isabella isn't working? What happens in that environment? Okay, so it's the 1960s. John Kennedy has been assassinated. The civil rights movement is producing a great deal of pressure for equality for everyone. The United States is feeling quite liberal. Lyndon Johnson is president of the United States. He's inherited this from the assassination. He's very liberal, and he wants to create what's called the Great Society. And he says we've got a problem in the United States because we have all these people who are getting no health care because they can't afford it. They're not employed. So the two big groups of people that we need to take care of are old people and poor people. And in the Great Society that he wanted to create, his vision, we need to provide health care for these people. Now, mind you, in Europe, with the social welfare state, post-World War II, everyone had health care insurance, right? And so the United States was somehow trying to react, what would be 20 years, 15 years later, okay? So he says, we will create, he proposes to create 2 new health programs. This is at a time when when the presidency was controlled by the Democrats, Johnson. The U.S. Senate was controlled by Democrats, and the U.S. House was controlled by Democrats. Just today, as it's completely flipped. So, there's a program created called Medicaid for the elderly, for the poor, and Medicare for the elderly. Okay? Now, there are whole courses in the United States on these, and we're not going to have time. Okay? Couple just very brief things. This was created basically by the liberal Democrats, left of center philosophy. This got split into 2 parts, what's called Medicare A, Medicare B. Medicare A was the liberals, conservatives got Medicare B. We talked last time about how politics determine everything, and when the political philosophies happen to coincide, you get laws with it. Okay? And these are classic examples of compromises. Okay? That create these. And to very quickly bring us up to date, then, today, in the United States, %50 of all healthcare costs, approximately, are provided by the U.S. government.
Through Medicare, Medicaid.
Medicare, Medicaid,
50%.
veterans system,
So VA also?
VA, which is separate.
Right. With 50% provided by the government today?
What is 50%?
Of the total cost of healthcare in the United States is paid for by the U.S. government.
Not just in Medicare and Medicaid.
No, it's
That's after Obamacare? Oh,
before.
that's before.
Well, I mean, it's probably more than 50, it's probably 55% now with Obamacare.
Under the two structure, the Medicaid and the Medicare, is that the formula that the government uses in paying the healthcare,
Yes,
the 50%?
right.
Okay.
That's
So it's
surprisingly high. The reputation of American healthcare is extremely private. I'm surprised.
No, but it's a private system paid
Through the government.
50% by the government. It's
Yeah.
not like in Israel.
It's still for profit.
It's private, except the VA, which is not private, right?
Yeah, and there's the US, there's the military health system.
And there's
as well.
some state-owned institution, right? That they are private also. Like MD Anderson is.
MD Anderson is neither for-profit nor state-owned. It's something called a not-for-profit. Not-for-profit, like the system that you work in, okay? And you call it an NGO.
Okay.
But it's
But
still.
the CEO of an NGO is making $1.5 million, and the doctors are making,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So even though that business is not for profit, everyone in it is
Just
for
profit.
profit. You know, I'm being approximate here with this, and there are, for an employer, a healthcare, this is more technical, but I'll just say it. No, let's develop it for a minute. Okay, it's developed. Would you rather that I give you the money for the health insurance? So in the United States, it'll cost $20,000 for you and your family a year. $20,000. Would you like me to give you $20,000, or would you like me to pay for your health insurance?
You as my employer,
Yeah.
pay and I receive the care. Because if you give me the money, I can be tempted to use the money for other things, and when I am sick or my family is sick, it might still be difficult.
Okay, so you've given a good answer, but it's not the answer I'm looking for. You've given me a personal answer. Let's now look at it from an economic perspective.
Give me the money.
Yeah.
No, why not?
No, it doesn't.
If I pay for this, I'm paying $20,000 for a cost. If I give you $20,000, what happens to that $20,000?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, Dad. You know, I'm getting,
You
don't
get
get it
that,
all.
right?
Right.
Okay.
I pay tax,
You pay tax.
and the employer pays tax. So when this is all done, it's no longer $20,000, it's more like $13,000. Okay? No, but it's like $18,000. Okay? So where does that $2,000 go? It goes to taxes. So when you come up with this 50%, it also includes the tax benefit. The lost taxes is the more complicated answer. Lost taxes to the government by the benefits for employees. Okay? So the government either pays for or subsidizes healthcare, half the healthcare in the United States. But because we so strongly believe in a capitalist system, we, the government, has not controlled healthcare. And, as I mentioned on Thursday, I had a man who worked for me who has a PhD in health economics from Harvard. He's a very bright guy, very nice man too, John McElhinney is his name. And when John would go to economists' meetings, no one would talk to him, because health economics doesn't follow the same rules as economics. Supply and demand don't work. If you take Rambam Hospital and you double the size, you will double the volume of people. There's no control. Capitalism doesn't work. And the fact that you have a third party paying for it just confuses things tremendously. So what happens in the United States in the 1990s is frustration with the rising costs of healthcare and the rise of something called managed care. The employers who were paying for all of this said, we just can't keep paying 15% a year increases in our costs. We just can't do it. So, for example, I worked in a city for a number of years called Dayton, Ohio. There was a huge presence of General Motors car company. 30,000 people worked for General Motors. And General Motors paid for the cost of their health care. And at that time, this is an interesting calculation. When you bought a car, an American car from General Motors, which 15 years ago would cost, let's say, an average of $25,000. I don't know, but let's say it's $25,000. Of that, $2,000 paid for the health care of the employees who built the car. It's one of the costs. It's just like our Coca-Cola, you have to buy the bottle, and that's just the cost of doing business. In the meantime, we're going to learn about Toyota today in Japan. Right? Japan Toyota. Yes. Yeah. They built a car, sold it for $25,000 because they had to compete with General Motors. Now, they probably sold it for $28,000 because it was a better car. Okay? And you were willing to pay the extra $3,000 to get a better car.
But that's made in the US also.
No, Toyota in Japan.
They don't have a company, they don't have
They do.
factories.
They do. They do.
So they're gonna pay tax, this is including tax, right?
Yeah.
Tax and import and everything. It's
Everything.
another $3,000 just the cost of bringing the car
No,
from the
they're
Japan.
just, bless you.
Thank you.
They're charging more because the market will pay for more. Okay? Because it's a better car, especially back 15 years ago. The cost of healthcare for the employees in Japan was $200 a car. This is what it costs. We're going to learn about Japan's healthcare. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about why this happens. Okay. All right, in the meantime, yes.
So why did Toyota decide to come to America? So they're huge from Georgetown, Kentucky, like 5 minutes away from where they're at.
Politics. Politics.
What
They
was the
were-
question?
Why?
So where I live in the States, we have a huge Toyota plant, like 10 minutes away from us.
So
I was
you're
wondering
gonna
why
pay
they
for the
came
same
to-
$2,000?
Yeah, I was wondering why they came to Kentucky then.
Right, so why did they come to Kentucky? Did it cost $2,000? The healthcare for those employees?
Yeah.
No. No, it probably cost about $1,000. Right? Why? Because they weren't unionized in Kentucky, and they were younger. All the old people, they just hired new people. They hired young people, and they're not unionized, so they don't negotiate the same. So it still cost more than here, but of course they were making more, and Toyota was worried that someday there would be a man named Donald Trump who would try to build walls around his country. And it's much more confusing if your cars are being made here. Is Toyota an American company or is it a Japanese company? Well, it's both. So it's for political reasons. That's my answer. Okay? You agree or no?
Yeah, no, it's very well understood, like, in Lexington, which is like the big city near Georgetown where the plant is, that like, the amount of like, people at first say like, oh, I'm really trying to get a job in Toyota, or I really hope my husband gets a job at Toyota so I can go to school or something like that. It's very understood.
That's why,
Big-
with Volkswagen, it was the same.
Yeah,
As they moved the factories from Germany to Czech Republic, and they bought Skoda and all these things, which they had to pay much less than to the Germans. So that's why they took it out
Yeah, it's
from Germany.
right. They went to save money. They went the other way. Okay.
They went
All right,
there.
now, so let's get back to this. So General Motors says, we just can't keep paying for this. Okay? Eventually, General Motors went bankrupt, as it turns out. But before they went bankrupt, they went to the insurance companies and they said, we're not gonna keep paying you 15% more a year, we just can't afford it. So the insurance companies did something new, something called managed care. They stopped simply passing the costs on to employers, and they started intervening in the cost of care. So now, my child has a blocked ear. I go to the ENT doctor. He or she says, we can either wait a month or we can get the surgery done. We decide to go for the surgery, but what happens?
The company says maybe you shouldn't.
He has to get permission from the company, and the company says no. You have to talk to Dr. Tegan, who is the medical employee of the insurance company, and she says, no, it's not indicated. So we're not paying for it. Go ahead and have it done. But privately, and in the United States, it never happens privately. People don't know. If the insurance companies, because all of a sudden the moral hazard is taken away, I'm not paying for that. Yeah, we'll wait a month, maybe 2 months, okay? And then we'll call up Dr. Tegan and we'll say, Dr. Holmes, right, Holmes? Yeah, it could be Dr. Tegan, either way. And say, look, it's been 3 months, it's no better. She'll say, fine, it's approved. In the meantime, 30% of the cases won't be operated on. Costs go down. So that's what happens in the 1990s in the United States.
It happened something similar like this last year in Israel.
Sure, this now happens everywhere. We're going to learn about this, okay? You'll see as you look at your countries. Different versions of this, okay? A lot of times it's the government that does it, okay? But here, I mean, Clalit can do it more so than the government. Government's not going to be quite as involved because the government is given this responsibility to Clalit, okay? But it happens, okay? Then, what does the public feel about this? The doctors certainly hate it, right? The hospitals hate it. And the hospitals and doctors, so we agree on the surgery, and then you call me the next day and you say you can't have your surgery done. I'm going to be very mad, right? I'm going to call Dr. Tegan, who, incidentally, I can't reach. I don't know who she is, because she's invisible. I can reach Bangalore, that's correct. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't do that, right? So I call my politician, Dr. Diego, and I say, Dr. Diego, I've elected you to take care of me. You're not doing a good job taking care of me. You need to make that insurance company pay for my care. And this is what happens in the United States, okay? It's so-called the death of managed care. It dies. Okay?
It dies?
Sort of, yeah.
Going back to
George Bush.
pay-per-view.
Yes.
Yeah.
They stopped managing care. When George Bush gets elected, George II is the second as well. Okay? Right? And what happens to healthcare costs? They shoot up. Okay?
Right.
Right? And then who gets elected? Barack Obama. Congratulations. And he inherits all of this. Okay? So, yes, go on,
I wish to find out when the insurance company refuses the doctor from carrying on this surgery, is it the doctor now to choose an alternative, or it is the insurance company to say, why not give medications for this or that?
Sometimes it's both. Okay? So Dr. Tegan will call Dr. Gill, Dr. Gill, and she'll say, have you considered pills? Okay, and Dr. Gill is going to be furious. He's going to say, of course I've considered that. Who are you to tell me what to do? And then you have all this professional conflict. Okay, right? Okay, so now we're up to whatever it is, 2008 in the United States. And what happens in the world in 2008? Recession. Everyone's out of money. He's the new president, congratulations, he's got a war that he has to settle, he's got a recession he has to deal with, and he's made promises to fix the healthcare system, okay? And partially because of the recession, I think 15 to 17% of the American population has no health insurance at all. Okay? So he goes ahead and he says, okay, we're gonna fix this.
No health insurance, you mean that they're not poor enough to get Medicaid or old enough to get Medicare, they're
Yes.
not under any plan?
Yes,
Right.
right. And that's essentially what it is. It's the so-called working poor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you work at McDonald's in the United States, there's McDonald's here, right?
No.
You work at McDonald's in the United States, you have no health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're working. If you stopped working and you became poor, maybe you'd be eligible for Medicaid.
Right.
I wouldn't, okay? So what he does is two things. Insurance reform. He sees to it, it's not him, but it's the Congress working with him, sees to it that more people are eligible for insurance through a variety of complex mechanisms. And the consequence of this is that the number of uninsured drops to about 5 to 7%. So he, maybe 8%. He reduces the uninsured by at least half in the United States.
This insurance is subsidized or provided by the government? This decreasing 10%?
Okay, so this is politics, all right? Bill and Hillary Clinton tried to do this and it blew up in their face because their politics were no good. So what Obama did, not that his politics turned out to be perfect either, he made a bunch of mistakes, but he decided to make the insurance industry his ally. And the Clintons made them their enemies. So he said to the insurance companies, how do you feel about taking on 5% more volume? If we give you 5% more patients, would you like that? And they said, sure, of course. A gift, 5% more volume when you're getting paid by the per capita. So what he did was he essentially said, we'll guarantee the money to the private insurance industry, not managed care. We're just gonna, your numbers are gonna increase by 5%. And people will have to pay some premium, and then we, the government, will make up the rest.
So it's increasing spending of the government to subsidize
Yes.
those who are uninsured. Increasing Medicaid, I would say, right?
Yes. So they did two things. They increased Medicaid. They said there's something called the federal poverty level. And if you make less than, I don't know, I think it's 120% of this number, you're eligible for Medicaid. They changed it.
That's not that smart to do. Because
Depends on your political philosophy, okay?
a lot of, you're gonna say, I mean, according to philosophy of
The capitalism of the United States, the people need to do something for getting the insurance or to get some commodity as an insurance, right? And he didn't increase the tax on this 15%. So now I didn't do anything. And after this legislation, I still do whatever I do, and now I get $2,000,
Okay.
$20,000 a year more.
So there are really two things to the insurance reform. One is they increase Medicaid, and for those people, you're right, they don't contribute anything, and now they're covered. Why do they do that? It's humanitarian. That's all. It's simple. Who pays for this? The rich people. There are new taxes on me, the Schuster family. I can show you the numbers, all right?
It increased the taxes.
Absolutely,
All right.
okay? Can I afford it? Yes. Then change my lifestyle.
Are you happy?
I'm a Democrat, so I'm a foolish liberal, okay?
So you're happy for increasing the
Right.
tax?
Okay. But they also produced insurance reform where they said, okay, Mesa's working at McDonald's, she's not had health insurance,